Hi traders, welcome to Elite Currency. My name is Chris, and today the update on cryptocurrencies and gold charts, our weekly update. Let's take a look at the charts. As always, we kick off with Bitcoin versus the US dollar. This is the daily chart, and as expected, we are getting a retest of this bottom. You know, these things happen when you have a strong downtrend in place. Of course, the larger trend might be up, but we're seeing a very, very strong retracement, and we don't know how far this retracement can last. That's always the question mark. And once the deep retracement is in play and has started, it is difficult for price sometimes to recover and find its bearings again. And this could retrace further downwards. That's something we need to be aware of. So when price made this first rally, as expected, eventually price will make a bounce to the upside if the retracement is deep enough. The chance of a retracement is very, very high. And we talked about the fact that this could make an ABC to retest this bottom. That's what's happening right now. The next question is, are we going to get the first sign of a potential recovery? Are we going to get the first sign of a higher low or not? That will be important, because if we don't get a higher low, this could basically keep retracing and falling to make a new lower low and create divergence, perhaps even multiple divergence. What could happen is that if price does continue lower, what could happen is that we would see something like this occur, a lower low, probably low volatility, maybe even a lower low. We will start building a falling wedge. Eventually, price will be moving very slowly around maybe 5K, maybe 4K, maybe even 2.5. And then there should be a break and reversal, because eventually, in that case, the falling wedge is actually a bullish reversal pattern. So only then might we see some upside gain again. So this doesn't have to happen, but it's definitely a scenario that could happen, and something we need to be aware of. And if we are long-term buyers of Bitcoin, this is something of a retracement that could occur and is good to be aware of, so that you're mentally prepared. Doesn't have to. Of course, that's just one scenario. Price is making a potential, which is testing this bottom, and it could bounce. So let's take a look at 4-hour chart, all right, and put a fib on this part. I think this leg is a little bit difficult to read. It's not a very clear 5-wave pattern, which leaves both the bearish and bullish scenario open at this point, I think. This could be an ABC. It will depend on how much momentum we see fall in this third or C wave. Depends how we look at it. At the moment, price is around the 61.8. Well, it actually broke a little bit below the 61.8 fib. Let me see if I have the fib totally correct. All right, looks so. So probably, you know, a decent chance it could go to the 78.6 fib. We'll have to see how price responds there. If it responds mildly and makes a mild retracement like this, and the 21 EMA band hits the price, or price hits the band and then turns, that does not look good for a bullish recovery. If, however, price hits the 21 EMA band, falls, and we see a sharp kind of reversal, break above the 21 EMA, hook back, and it bounces off the 21 EMA, you know, that of course would change things. In that case, we're having a bullish breakout, and around here, where I have the green circle, there would be a potential bullish confirmation, and a slightly, you know, a decent chance that we might get that uptrend continuation in that case, because then we do have a lower high finally, and that would be a little bit of a useful information for a bullish recovery. For the moment, we have nothing except lower highs and lower lows, right? So that's something we got to keep in mind. So ultimately, this was a strong push up, but it was really almost so strong that we got this kind of V-valley reversal to the downside, right? Like this, up, down. So it's a difficult spot for price, and I think we need patience and time to understand what the trend is, and we need to see these patterns unfold, specifically how price will respond in this particular zone around the 78.6 fib, and also around this resistance level, right? We can put even maybe a trend line like this, like that. That will say a lot about the next movements. Now the same is pretty much valid for Ethereum as well. In fact, maybe retracing a little bit deeper than Bitcoin, right? Going a little bit further down, but ultimately still above this bottom. And these trend lines in play. So break here, could see price test support again. Different support levels though, here and here, right? These tops and bottoms could be the next stopping spot. And here too, we might see this falling wedge perhaps. And with Ripple, same thing, but the bullish bounce was not as strong. So Ripple didn't look as bullish as the other two. And in fact, would need to definitely wait for some confirmation before I think a bullish breakout is likely. In fact, this one has, I think, more potential for price to just correct, maybe sideways, maybe kind of build a wedge first, because of the corrective price action that we're seeing here ever since this big fall around mid-January, right? Last 2 months, price has been pretty narrow in its movement. So I, for the moment, don't expect any change in that for the next week myself. Regarding gold, gold is also going sideways, as you can see, building a triangle. So if it breaks that triangle to the downside, we might get a bigger correction and price might challenge this bottom in here, as I expect this to happen in that case. All right, we got momentum up here. We would get three-wave correction and ABC, basically like this, and an upside. All right, so, but if that price doesn't break through this, we will never get this part, of course. If it breaks above this resistance, we might get an immediate bullish breakout. So those are the key levels I'm keeping an eye on gold. Of course, this level is also good to know. If it breaks that, we have a good chance of falling towards this bottom right in here. More free analysis at elitecurrency.com. Wish you all great trading and see you soon. Cheers.